Cricket has become a religion in India today, and cricketers are even treated as demigods. In the studios of TNTmirror.tv, we welcome Professor Ravi Chaturvedi. He has been covering cricket as a radio commentator, television commentator and author for almost 58 years now. Sir, welcome to the studios of TNTmirror.tv. So you have been a kind of a globetrotter for cricket and covering in the various medias, and you've authored books and you're also commenting on cricket. So under the circumstances, as you see, cricket has become such a big sport in India. So in your experience, be it England, Australia, Sri Lanka, Pakistan or the other countries or even the new associate countries that are coming in and two new members, Ireland, Afghanistan, how is cricket perceived there? What are the views of the people and how does the media treat cricket there?
The social scenario as far as cricket in different parts of the world is concerned has changed over the time. And everywhere, whether it's a sport or any other activity, the social scenario plays a very important role. And as yesterday I pointed out, this after the Second World War, when the economic recession was there in Europe, the cricket activity practically came to stand still. The social needs were different. The priorities of social needs were different. So that's one point. Now coming back to your question, I think when the media support or the public support or the mass support comes, that is also associated. One is the love of the game amongst the masses, among the spectators, the cricket loving masses. That is one thing. The plus point of or added factor in this is if the local team is doing well. In Australia, if I go back before that, the first super star of cricket was Dr. W.G. Grace. Wherever Dr. W.G. Grace played, people flocked to that ground to watch him play, whether he was playing for Gloucestershire or he was playing in Test cricket. The second superstar of cricket was Don Bradman. Same thing happened to him. Wherever Bradman was playing, the people will be there to watch him because he was the one who was adored. He was the second superstar. We didn't have a third superstar in cricket. Now coming back to Bradman. There is a station in Melbourne near the MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground, known as Jolimont. If on a cricket day when Bradman was playing, if you find a crowd going from Jolimont station to MCG, be sure that Bradman is batting. I'll give another example. You go to Sydney, SCG, and you go to an office. And if you go to the office and if you find the hats on the stands safely perched, means Bradman is not batting. If you find the hats off from their pegs, be sure that Bradman is batting SCG and the whole people will be travelling towards Sydney Cricket Ground. This was the scenario. This was the superstars. They attracted the people to them. The art of batting which was admired by the people. And let's not forget, cricket always remained a batsman-oriented game. It rules, it's people who administered. I mean, there were great great bowlers all over the history. If you look at the bowlers, they are great bowlers. If a bowler can take 4 wickets in 1 over, he's a celebrity. But how many names you remember a bowler who has taken 4 wickets in an over or 2 hat-tricks in his life? But Bradman scoring a century was a big news. W.G. Grace scoring a century was a big news. So it was always a batsman-oriented game, and that's why the spectators always flocked. It happened in India also. If C.K. Naidu was playing, he was the first superstar of Indian cricket. I mean, imagine playing against MCC at Bombay, hitting 11 sixes, and one of them broke the glass pane and the clock on the pavilion, Hindu Gymkhana. And so when such exciting players were there, why not people go and see? And so therefore they went there. Then don't forget, at that time in the initial phases of Indian cricket, 2 great fast bowlers you had. You didn't have till Kapil Dev came or Tatu Bhatkar came, good fast bowlers. Amar Singh and Nisar, they were great fast bowlers. But how many of the Indians went to watch Nisar and Amar Singh bowl? They only went to see C.K. Naidu and Vijay Merchant how they bat. So that is because this is batsman oriented game. But coming back to another thing, the West Indians are very spontaneous people. You know, when they laugh, their whole body shakes. They have no mask. I'm very sorry to tell you, in our part of the world, we all wear masks. When we laugh, we only show our teeth, but it's not from the heart. When a West Indian laughs, he has no inhibition. Whether there are 50,000 people, if he had to do anything, dance, do anything, he will do it. Even if the Prime Minister is there, it does not make a difference to him, he will do it. This natural spontaneity which you find in the West Indies, if you have not watched cricket in the West Indies, I think you have missed something great. The music, the expression, the atmosphere, that is so catchy, it's so appealing to you. I mean, which you do not find anywhere in the world. Now coming back to our part of the world, yes, with India started winning, the people have started flocking in the expectation that we will win. There are people who are going to watch cricket earlier, they were connoisseurs, they were admirers of players, through the generation we have set of players. But we never had a good team to win. We always crumbled at the last, we fell at the last outpost, so to say. But then the self-confidence came up from 1983. You won the World Cup in 83. 84, you won the World Championship of Cricket in Australia under Gavaskar.
85.
Then things changed from then onwards when India started. More and more people who were not so well conversant with the game, even they started flocking to the grounds and so on and so forth. So look at Pakistan. Pakistan also has same love. The Pakistanis, their admiration for the game, their commitment to the game is as good. In this part of the world, I'll say Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan is same. Culture is after all the same. So therefore, the masses today are very much involved in it, thanks to the vernacular commentary also, and the media, vernacular media, which has enabled the people living in the remote parts of the countries rather, to understand this game and to understand the performance of their idols. So that they have also been part of the game now. So therefore, can you imagine a scenario that a farmer with his truck laden with potatoes to be sold in the market is not accepted? He is sitting on his cart with a transistor listening to 2011 World Cup. A mechanic on his small shop is not doing any work, he also has a transistor and listening to it. In a school in Ahmedabad, blind girls all round a transistor listening to the World Cup. This is a social change which has occurred in this part of the world. The people have become associated with the cricket. The sports has made its entry in the social milieu of the developing world of this part of the world. And this is good for the sports, not only for cricket, it's good for the sports also, which is being manifested, as you see in other sports also. There is a much more following, there are much more love. There are youngsters who are also not only trying to play, the maximum, most of them trying to play cricket, but still there will be some who would like to play badminton, they like to play table tennis, like to be in kabaddi, they like to have wrestling. This is a very, redeeming, very encouraging social scenario that we find today in this part of the world. I am not only talking of India.
So now, this is the reaction of the people. When it comes to the media, like Indian media, this is a kind of a complaint like other sports have, that cricket gets the bigger share, especially when World Cup comes. It's going to be all World Cup cricket and every other sport is going to be sidelined. So how is it in the other countries? What is the media? Do they project cricket and cricketers in the same fashion as the Indian media, or is it peculiar to the subcontinental media?
You see, what has happened is, with the transportation, with the availability of faster transport and faster mode of transmission of the news, now, if you remember, time, and if I remember my times, which is much more earlier, in a national capital like Delhi, even major dailies of Delhi, at that time, will cover an inter-college tournament. Cricket will get a very prominent place. I wish I should have preserved those papers when I was playing inter-college. Even other sports like football, hockey, even that inter-college, inter-university got their coverage in it. The importance of sports at that level was any visiting team played against a team of Indian universities.
Yes.
Big set of players have come up through the Indian universities, Farooq Engineer, Jaisimha, all these players, they came up through the, Ajit Wadekar, they all came through the Indian universities. That is where the media was also trying to project them, they're playing a role in that. Now, only international cricket. Even Ranji Trophy is not fully covered. Dilip Trophy, Irani Trophy. How much coverage they get? You are covering European football, you are covering Barcelona League, Spanish League, you are covering English League, you are covering South American League. So, where is priority for the national news? So, all that you get is IPL or some cricket test matches, that's all. So, that is where we are neglecting our own sports. And I remember in my times, some of those people who became the prominent sports editors of national dailies, they used to come and cover the inter-college match. Imagine, forget Ranji Trophy, even they were covering the inter-college match. So that was the importance. The grassroots level sport also had a media support. So that was an important, which is unfortunately lacking today.
So now coming to this very concept of cricket today becoming, like you said, West Indians, their lifestyle, their calypso, whereas the Britishers are very conservative. And here we have cricket becoming a carnival. So how can the Britishers, with their tradition, they are the ones who laid out the rules of cricket, the white dress, the red ball, and all that came from the Britishers. Now this World Cup is going to be held in England. So how do you see the dichotomy matching and fitting into the Indian cricket scenario?
No, you see, if you look at this scenario, as I earlier pointed out, that tight-lipped and that tight buttoned shirts and tie, that culture is also fading in Europe and in England also. The new generation which is coming up, they are breaking away from the traditional social values of England as well. And therefore, on the grounds there also, to an extent, things are changing. I think your question practically comes up from the media, in the sense, when you look at the television picture of a cricket match, you'll find most of the people with their hats on, MCC tie. And these are very different stands. They are meant for the members of that club, whichever ground it is. But if you look at the general public, they give vent to their feelings if there's something. And that giving vent to their feeling is in the sign boards, the placards that they put up on the ground, which is happening all over the world. So the scenario is changing on the cricket stadia everywhere. Maybe we are more expressive, we are very sentimental people. As you very rightly said, if cricket is a religion in India, Sachin Tendulkar is a god. Yes, that's what people feel. I may not subscribe to it, but that's what the masses of the India feel. I'll tell you a very interesting story about Sachin Tendulkar. He went to see somebody in the hospital, So then he was told by a doctor that there's a boy, he's also a cricket fan, so you may at least go and see him. He will be inspired, maybe it's good for his recovery. So Sachin went to see him, and he was carrying a magazine which had his photo. So Sachin talked to him, and he talked to him in his language, and after that he said, he wanted to give him some money. So maybe he took out 100 rupees, 200, whatever was the money. The boy didn't, the moment he took out the money, he didn't look at him. He was looking somewhere else. Sachin was quite surprised. What is this? He's not taking the money. Sachin had a magazine where his photo was there. So he pointed out, he wanted that magazine, not the 100 rupee note. Look at the social change which has occurred. This is the love of the game which the masses had. The boy is on a hospital bed, he doesn't want money, he wants a photograph of Sachin Tendulkar. So this is a big change in society.
So now the last final question, it's on the World Cup, and I want a very short, quick answer from you. It should be just a one-word answer. So which team do you think is going to win this World Cup from your heart of heart?
If you look at cricket, they always say it's a game of ups and downs, it's a game of glorious uncertainties. So if you make a forecast who's going to win, I think you make the biggest mistake of your life. So with those reservations, I'll say, but heart to heart, I mean, as an Indian, I wish the Indian team all the best, and I wish Virat Kohli and his young boys bring laurel to this country, as Virat has brought by his own batsmanship. He is one of the best batsmen in the world today. Let his team also be one of the best in the world today.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your views with TrentTmirror.tv.